Good morning, YouTube friends. This is the beginning of a road trip, which I've seen many other YouTube people do and decided to do one myself. This is Tom, K2BEW, pulling out on my very busy road, which is Route 9 in the village of Alatia. And I live right on a curve, so it's tricky pulling out. Our cameraman is my son Joshua. Say hi, Josh.
Hello.
And we are heading to the city of Albany. Oh, and I have to stop at the store and get a couple things on the way. I'm just going to give you a quick little beginning of the road trip here through Alatia. I'm not going to keep the camera on all the way out into Albany. Most of the ride is just a throughway, which is very boring and there's nothing on it. But this is the village of Alatia. Of course, we hit the light that you never hit because a car turned. That's all right. So this is a Craigslist find. I have alerts set up on my local Craigslist, so I get an email if something pops up that I'm looking for. And I've been looking for one of these for a while. As you know, I have a number of radios. I have Philco, I have RCA. I do not own a Zenith. So I've been looking for a Zenith at a reasonable price. A lot of people ask too much for them, especially the console ones. They think they're worth more than they are. And you see ridiculous prices like $300, $400 on these old consoles that people have. And this is a console Zenith, and it came up at a reasonable price within driving distance. So we're going to go look at it. One picture online based on what it looks like. I'll probably buy it for the asking price, but I'll have to have a better look at it. The woman selling it said it was her father's radio, so I'm hoping to get a little more history when we get there. This is the circle in Alatia, which is kind of a pain. And I have to take a little stop here, and we will be there going back out of the circle in Alatia. And a little quick tour of Alatia. My wife grew up in this town. I did not. I grew up out towards the Buffalo, New York area. This is eastern New York, 22 miles to be exact, southeast of the city of Albany, New York. And of course, New York is known for apples. So up here on our right, we see one of our bigger apple places here, Golden Harvest Apples. They have a distillery. They make apple cider and apple vodka, and they also make apple cider donuts, which are the best donuts I've ever eaten in my life. You can get them hot, and then they sell apples, of course. They have orchards, and they make all their own stuff. They sell pies, great stuff. Classic kind of a New York thing to have. All-American apple pie. Oh. Okay, here we are, just coming up to the Hudson River. We're going to cross over to the other side, and the city of Albany will be in front of us and to the left. Up on the hill, there's a little hospital up there, straight ahead. Over to the right is Montgomery Ward from the 1930s. And over to the left there, that is the city of Albany. Nice sunny day. And over, I don't know if my son can get it, you will see the Victor Victrola dog on the old RCA building. The thing is about 40 feet tall, and a while back they restored it. I forget who bought the building. They restored it to keep it as a landmark, even though it's no longer an RCA Victor building. Get a shot of it there. I think I'll drive by that later on the way home and get a better shot of that dog, because it's like a famous radio type landmark in Albany. Over there. So we're going around the city. We just crossed the Hudson River, and we're heading the exit into the city. Well, really, almost the suburbs. And my GPS is telling me to go straight here. It doesn't know where we are.
Turn right, then.
It has me turning right here.
There's no...
And there's no road.
After 200 yards, turn right, then right turn ahead.
This is an old GPS that
Turn
has
right,
old maps in
then
it.
right turn ahead.
It's got the right street name, though. Actually, this is the street that I believe that the radio is on.
What is the address?
Oh, no, we're going to Beacon.
Yeah, we're going to Beacon.
This is not Beacon.
This is not. This is Berkshire.
Hopefully this will get
After
us there.
300 yards, turn right.
Yeah, we're kind of going around the block. It wanted us to drive straight through the person's house. Oh, no, not turn yet. These streets are pretty old, too. I'm surprised my GPS is that off. Here's Beacon.
Turn right, then you have reached your destination.
The house is right. All right, there's that white picket fence on the left. I think that's going to be the house. They told me what it looked like. Oh, no, it's up a little ways. Oh, there's another white picket fence up the road. That's probably the house.
It'll be on this side.
Okay,
Right.
I'm going to take the camera in the house with me when we get up here. I might or might not
After
videotape.
200 yards, you have reached your destination.
I'm not usually comfortable taping in somebody. I wouldn't do it without asking, and I don't necessarily want to say, hey, do you want to be on a YouTube video and let me tape inside your house? You know, I think most people would find that offensive. So I probably won't. I'll probably tape after we get out. Okay, it should be this house with the picket fence, and we will be back in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Here's the radio. We're out loading it in the truck. I did purchase it. The one thing I wanted to make sure is it has the original wave antenna and speaker. This is an 8-tube. It is a model 8S661. It has been refinished poorly. I'm going to have to strip it. And the glass is broken, but it's replaceable. Sorry for the quick video outside. We'll tape it more when I get it home and get it out. Of course, the people are moving, and he tried to sell me a few other things. He had a nice Victor Victrola, but he wanted too much for it. It was probably worth what he was asking, but I'm not in the market for one because they're so big and they take up so much room.
It's really nice.
It was really nice. It was a lot of records, but I have nowhere to put it, and it was more than I could pay for it. The old crank-up Victor Victrola, which of course I showed you the dog in Albany. The dog was on the Victor Victrola in the guy's basement. And it may have been made in Albany, very well could have been, because that was the factory where they made those, where that dog is. So it could have actually been even made here, which would have been cool to own that, you know, as a collector piece, but too much money and no room at home to put it. So I had to pass on that. As I started saying, somebody came up to me when I was out there videotaping, the neighbor of the guy whose house we bought the radio from, so I cut off the tape anyhow. And what I started to say, it had been refinished. I didn't want to tape inside the guy's house. And what he said was his wife's father bought a house and the radio was in the house. So he did not buy it new in 1942. That model is from 1942. And her father is the one that redid the finish on it, and of course it was a poor job. He apparently wanted a lighter color, and there's some kind of, I don't even think it's like a varnish, I think it's like an antique paint, one of those 1970s fake antique paint colors. It's almost an oak. And of course back when it was original, those things were dark cherry and they had beautiful grain wood underneath it. So I'm hoping it's not like so Menands is where we're going. Sorry about the camera. Josh is looking in the other direction. Menands is where we're going, the next exit, and we're going to go up a road and around, and we're going to go by that Victor Victrola thing eventually. Oh, this span to the left. You'll see over there is the Montgomery Ward building.
Behind that building.
It's behind that building. Montgomery Ward, of course, being the famous department store. And that was one of the early ones. I know a lot of cities had them. That was the one that was here. That was a department store, believe it or not, at one time. We're going to drive right by that, so we'll probably cut off recording here and we'll pick it up over by Montgomery Ward. So if you don't know the story of the Victor Victrola dog, the guy that came up with that advertisement owned the dog, and he was sitting in front of his Victrola and he cocked his head with that inquisitive look to see what it was, because he heard voices coming out of it, and he made the famous advertisement, and the dog's name was Victor, and that's where it came from. And reportedly that dog was a pit bull, and we have a little white and black pit bull that looks similar to that dog, which I have a videotape of her chewing gum, although her head is almost solid black with a white line down the middle. This dog had like eye patches. So there it is from down here. It's quite big. Like I said, you can see it better from a distance. I don't know what it's made out of, but I'll try to figure it out. Oh, Nipper, that was his name. His name is on his collar. It says Nipper. That was the dog's name. That's right. I have read that before. Turned around, I got a couple still shots from underneath, and we're walking back. He's got a red light on his head. That's what that is, Josh. Because it's so high, it's for airplanes. It's a red light, and it could be a weather thing also. So this is some kind of rental building now, the Arnoff building, and it's the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Aliens. So we're back on the road, headed toward the city of Albany. This is, again, as I mentioned, Menands is the name of this town. This is technically not part of the city of Albany. I don't know where the city of Albany actually starts and stops. This is all an industrial area out here, and as I said, there's a lot of old industrial buildings like the Victor Victrola building, which is why it's here. And I'm going to guess, like, past this bridge is going to be the city of Albany, more than likely, or at least close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming here again for Scouts.
Yes, we came. My son is in Boy Scouts, and we did a walk through the city of Albany looking for historic buildings. It was kind of like a scavenger hunt, and it was a lot of fun. We walked around and identified places, and you had to write down on a sheet of paper if you found it, and you had to write down some fact about it that, like, you would only be able to know that if you went there.
Yeah.
Like the name of some person whose name was printed on the building, or, you know, some weird thing like that, right? Wasn't that what it was? And we walked over here, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Over here.
We're doing it again this year.
Oh, that was fun.
This is where we started.
Oh, yeah, we did start
right across the street from this building here.
And we walked all through the city of Albany. It was a lot of fun with the Boy Scouts. He has a great Boy Scout troop. They do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of camping too. This is just like one of these fun activities they do. They try to teach them about history, and that history of Albany, of course, is part of that. Right through downtown, we'll get a little view. You'll get a view of the city of Albany, as long as we're out driving around.
Might as well.
And one of these streets, and I don't remember which one, goes up towards like where the governor's mansion is, which I'd like to drive up there if I can figure out where it is.
Albany's oldest store.
Albany's not big, as I had mentioned. It's not hard to get around. All the streets converge down to the river, Hudson River, and they go up a hill. And they all go down the hill to the river. And kind of go out like spokes. And Pine. I'm going to take a right.
That's the Dunkin' Donuts we went to.
Oh. Isn't that the diner we had lunch in?
No, we ate out of that restaurant in the big building.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, isn't that the Capitol building up on the left?
Yeah, that's the Capitol
building. The building with the red tile type roof up there, I believe, is the Capitol building. There's so many government buildings, so I might be wrong, but it's one of those famous buildings. Oh, there's a wedding over there to our right.
Oh,
the church.
Great.
Maybe we'll see Governor Cuomo walking around.
Probably not.
I doubt it. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Tower. This is the Capitol building up on the left. There's a statue in front of it of Sheridan, I think it was, the famous general from the Civil
One
War.
right here. There's also another statue in that park down there.
So get a swing over there. Those steps are cool. That's the New York State Capitol building, where like the legislature meets and all, and the governor's offices, I think. And his mansion is up here somewhere. We went by his mansion. I don't remember. It was up past the Capitol building, wasn't
it? Good question.
Oh, look at the Ford El Camino car from the 70s. All right, the building on the right
they're doing a photo
is the
shoot.
a photo shoot in front of the Capitol with some girl in a dress. This thing with all the columns is the New York State Education Building. And I know that from our scavenger hunt because we had to identify it. Oh, there's the sign that said New York State Capitol at the Capitol building, but you saw the building, that's all that matters. So this column building on the right is the Education Building. The one on the left, this is the state. Remember this has the names of all the counties on it?
Yeah.
What the heck was this called? I forget.
Good question.
I forget what this building is, but it's a state building and it has the name of every county in New York State etched into the side of the building. That's the deli we ate at. Up on the right,
there.
We ate at that deli when we were doing our scavenger hunt. We stopped over here for lunch.
And we ate in that church way down there.
Uh-oh.
Where are we coming from?
We're going to cut off the Albany's finest going by us somewhere.
It's not going somewhere.
So now we're heading up out of downtown. We're up on the hill. I don't think there's a whole lot up here that's famous. I'm going to make a left rather, and do a U-turn and go down the other side of the Capitol building. And there's some other big famous state buildings that way. And I'll see if I can remember where the governor's mansion is. I think, did we go by it during our scavenger hunt? I want to see if we did.
I don't know. I don't really remember that part. I probably did.
So we got off that road just in time. There's more sirens.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a left, and I think we're going to come out around. Oh yeah, is this Lark Street? This is a famous street. We walked up the street. This is Lark. I don't remember if it is.
We went to this.
Oh yeah, we went to this church. This is one of the early churches that was built in Albany, Emmanuel Baptist, and I don't remember the year. If I see it, I'll say it. I don't see it. There's no cars behind me. So that again is the Capitol on the left with the red roof, and on the immediate left is a building with all the counties of New York State on it. Some other state building. Oh, what's that say? The Governor State Alfred Smith Building.
Office building.
Get the Empire State Plaza. Over on our right is the Empire State Plaza.
That's where it was.
And that was all built during Nelson Rockefeller's reign as governor in New York State. There's a huge mall underneath there. It's not a shopping mall. There's a couple restaurants. And mostly state offices are in that building. And if you pan to our left, you're going to see the back of the Capitol building, where the New York State Legislature is and where the governor's office is. And to the left, all the way to our left, is the State Education Building again. If you ever deal with the New York State Education Department, that's like their building. And I forget what that is to the right. Did we identify that one?
It says right there on the side.
Robert
Abrams Building for Law and Justice.
And that's the egg on the left. That is an actual auditorium. And way to the right, that building that just went by, that was the New York State Library. There's a library in there. And I've been in there. It's a big library. To the left, you can see the steps of the State Building. Again, the Capitol Building. And then we're heading back down the hill toward the river into downtown Albany. And I do not remember where the governor's mansion is. If I did, I would have gone.
This is a SUNY building.
This is a SUNY building. I wasn't sure what it was. All right, maybe that's their main office for the state university. Probably is.
That would make sense.
Okay, so I knew that was an old famous building, but I didn't know what it was. It's a SUNY building. So that must be their main office building for the whole SUNY system, which is all the state, New York State University that goes out across the state. There's SUNY in Buffalo, there's SUNY out here, there's SUNY in every city across New York State. My son goes to SUNY Utica, which is an engineering school, and nursing too. On the left is the Times Union Center that I mentioned. That modern thing that says Berkshire Bank on top, that's where they play hockey and have concerts. Now we're going to go over the river again. The other bridge we came up is what they call the Patroon Island Bridge. I don't know why they call it that.
Island.
Where is Patroon Island? I have no idea. Is it? I don't know. It's just a bridge over the Hudson River.
Yeah.
Anyway, is Patroon Island a real island, or is it just a name for the bridge? I don't know. So swing to the left. Off in the distance is the Patroon Island Bridge after the railroad bridge, way off in the distance. That's the one we drove over to come into Albany. And now we're driving over the other bridge into Rensselaer. And that's the Hudson River. If you keep going that way, you're going to end up in New York City. All the way down the Hudson.
All right.
There's a nice view of the city.
No, the ship
from here.
The ship. Slater.
Coming down the hill here, Valatia was known in the 1800s as a mill town. They had a lot of famous cotton mills. On the left, you're going to see the Valatia Medical Art Building. That used to be a huge cotton mill. When I first came out here in 1987, it was still there. Not in use, but it was an old flea market at that time, from the 1800s. And our house, directly across the street, was part of the mill. It was built in 1850, and the house was owned by the mill, because all the houses around the mill were built by the owners of the mill, and mill workers lived in them. So some mill worker lived in. So here we are looking at the thing, and my wife is coming over to look at it the first time.
What the heck are you going to do with that? What?
Because she knows how small our house is and how I love to collect radios.
Come on.
Maybe I will restore it and give it away to my brother Dan, who has a bigger house than me. Yes, that's correct.
Yes, if he's going to take it.
You can get replacements for that.
Of course you can, for some money.
No, well, they make them. There's people online that sell reproductions.
Sell, S-E-L-L.
Yeah, it plays, it works. It's actually, they were playing it when we got there, so it's not going to need, it'll need some work, but the cabinet's got to be stripped, because this has been painted with some kind of fake antique paint, and this has a gorgeous cherry wood underneath it, so I'm going to have to strip it and take it back down to the cherry and lacquer it. Now that we're playing it, my wife's a little happier.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
You said it sounds nice.
Well, it does. That's about it.
Listen to the speaker on this.
$12 or $5.99 each.
Although Dad believed, he did so imperfectly, like the rest of us.
All right.
A little scratchy.
Forever, these prices won't. Get the original blue jean at JCPenney today.
It's got a huge speaker and the big wave magnet antenna, which you can turn. Got some tape on it, unfortunately, plastic tape. With it working, I'm sure her father did some work to it to get it working. I don't know if he recapped it. We'll see when we get it out. But it's working. There's Macy. Say hi, Macy. Here. Look at the radio like the Victor dog. Sit. 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 There, good girl. Sit. There you go. Doesn't she look like the Victor Victrola dog? Sort of.